to this beautiful
Excited to be here.
yeah, conversation with me. All right, Kritika, you heard about the 49%, right? And it's about the voices that need to be heard, valued, and celebrated. So when you hear that framing, what does it mean to you personally, and how do you see your own journey fitting in that narrative? Let's start with this question.
No, Archana, so delighted to be here, and hi to everyone joining in from all over the country. We have people from, let's see, I saw Pune, I saw Indore, I saw Bangalore, I saw Jodhpur. No, awesome. What does the framing mean to me? So, Archana, on a light note, like 7 is my lucky number. And so
Oh,
7 into 7 is 49. So, again, all the luck is shining on us as we have this conversation.
and it's
Um,
49.7%, by the way,
oh my
the
goodness. There you
percent.
go, right? There's 3 sevens in there, yes. So that's one. But also on a deeper note, Archana, honestly, what that framing means to me is a genuine emotion of, I would even say, maybe anger or frustration, in that while there are 49%, 49.7% to be precise, why is it that Neha, you, me have been in the single digit percentage of women through all of the different roles that we hold, whether it was as, the managing director of Facebook in India, or when I was investing with SoftBank Vision Fund, the percentage of female founders running deep tech companies, the amount of funding going to female founders, like why, right? So there is that anger and that frustration and that impatience to change those numbers. And maybe the final emotion and the way that I channel that anger is to think about, okay, what can I do? What can I do to change these numbers? I am like just so excited about this initiative to spotlight 49 women. It reminds me of speaking at Harvard India conference, and a young woman coming up to me and saying her father gifted her the 30 Women in Power book that was written by Naina Lal Kidwai. And she said, read about you in the book, and I've
Oh,
held you as, that picture. So I'm so excited about what you're doing. And if this story and this conversation helps even one person aspire for more, honestly, like our time together would be so well worth it.
yeah, incredible. That's a great start. So, yeah, that takes me to the starting point, actually. And it says, that something drew you towards technology and leadership. And I want to know from the back journey, what was that really which got you here?
So, the draw towards technology, I would say, was more societal, right? Growing up, there was this norm that said, if we were told that we have many career choices. You can either be a doctor, an engineer, or a total failure, was what was told. And so I actually applied for both engineering and medical college, got into engineering, and that's my start into technology. But Archana, I think I feel very fortunate that I fell in love with technology. I found it just magical to look at a problem statement and see how you apply technology to solve it. So from that point on, the decisions were my own to get deeper and deeper into technology, including saying that I want to go do my master's in computer engineering, and the subsequent choices that I made. So that's what took me to technology. When you ask me what took me to leadership,
Mm.
actually, I'll go back again to my engineering college days, since you said let's go back to the beginning. And yeah, I was in Nanded in Marathwada University, and AI, given the topic of this conversation too, it was the first time that AI was an option to be offered as an elective. So I
That,
rallied
how
at
many
that
years?
time.
Oh,
Yes,
my
this
goodness.
was yes. Right. So, of course, it's now taken a few decades for it to become the everyday word, but AI in its many avatars has been around for a while. And I, in my infinite wisdom, rallied a youth student community to say, oh, AI has to be offered in the university that very year. And so we had a very supportive administration who actually made that happen. So ever since then, AI has been taught in the university. But the lesson in there is the leadership lesson in there is that our voice matters. more than we can imagine. So everyone here who's listening, your voice, you have more power than you believe is possible. And so, like, exercise your power. Be impatient and angry about all the things that are not going well. Prioritize and channel that to use your power.
Super. What a brilliant answer. All right, but that makes me curious. While you were growing up, I'm sure that there were not many women role founders, women, I would say, somebody whom you could look up to, who were in either business or tech or media, who could shape your perspective or become a role model to you. So, how did you really get influenced? I mean, society, I heard, but at the same time, like there's some inspirational people out there, whom you want to be. Did something like that really happen at that time?
I'll stick to my engineering university days. This was in Nanded. Um, and there weren't many people who were coming to teach there. So our principal she was probably like 5 years out of university herself. And so she was our principal. And to give everyone perspective, for our first year of engineering, we didn't even have a proper campus. We borrowed the campus of our high school education. And so I often say that, and my father inculcated this in me when I used to cry about, oh, why can't I go to all of these higher ranked places? Where he used to say, Kirthiga, you can go to an amazing place and do nothing with that opportunity, or you can make the most of the opportunity given to you. And so I'd say Geeta Latkar was principal madam. She was, again, more a sister to us, a friend to us than a principal. But the remarkable work she did, and now, of course, there are multiple universities. We have a fabulous campus. So she really represented leadership for us. And Archana, like, fast forward, I graduated with a second rank in the university. No one was more surprised than me. I would really say that that was my moment of realizing what I could aspire to. And I will tell you that it was because of that small setting and the amount of personalized attention that I got that I would attribute where I graduated. And that set the setting stone for the rest of my life.
Oh my God, so amazing. Thank you again for that answer. But I want to ask you now that when you
Yes.
started with Meta and now all
Yep.
the way to Verix, do you think you've evolved as a leader? There are some leadership lessons that probably you unlearned to now become an entrepreneur of sorts. When you're a leader in an organization, is it different than being a leader at the entrepreneurship level? Very curious about this question.
One of the early lessons that I learned at Meta, I remember the executive team coming to visit us for the very first time and in India, and we were so excited about all that we had achieved. So I had all our PowerPoint presentations about the impact, the business impact that we had achieved. I started having that conversation, and I remember Grady Burnett, who was the vice president that I reported to, said, "Wait a minute. I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. Can you first tell me, how are you hiring the right people? How are you building the right culture? Because if you focus on those two and set the right vision, business results will come." And that
Mm.
was truly like a aha moment for me. Of course, I've had other leaders ask me about hiring and culture, but not in that order. They would always want to know, like, what are the business results? And of course, yeah, later tell me about culture and people. But that reversal was a very important lesson for me. And that, I would say, Archana, has stayed constant through the years. In the hybrid world that we're in right now, what
Mm.
I've also had to learn is things that I assume come not naturally, normally, fast in that equation, you actually have to make a deliberate effort to make that happen. And that has been a learning.
Oh,
We got our whole team together for an AI hackathon that you came and joined us for. And that was critical in helping building that culture. But you have to be much more deliberate, even more 10x more deliberate when it comes to a startup and in a hybrid setting.
yes, I so totally hear you. And I think you have really clearly learned from every journey and now putting it all together. And we will talk about AI, Kiran, which we just touched upon. However, I want to tell the audience who's joining in, there is so much that comes out of this conversation, both on the personal and the professional side. Do take notes because these are life lessons which you can actually use for a long, long time. And of course, Kritika's life journey is all about these beautiful nuggets which come together. So thanks, Ritika. And I'm really like engrossed in also hearing on one side and wanting to ask you many more things. So pardon me if I'm skipping few questions and going here and there. Be with
Go
me.
for it.
All right. So tell me, this is, you are in a man's world. Do you truly believe in this statement, one? And secondly, are there any challenges actually as a woman you feel in the space you're in?
So, are we in a man's world? The numbers tell the story. And, I spoke about how I've just consistently been in the single digit percent of women. Right. Once I've actually even in I was going to say like once I got out of like undergraduate, but even in undergraduate, we were 5 women in a large class. So we were still like single digit percentage right from that point of time. The minute you jumped into technology, I've always been in that single digit percentage, and increasingly so as I grew into executive roles. So the numbers tell the story about the man's world. Have I faced any challenges? Um, you know, some people ask me, they say, as you go senior, do those challenges go away? Do biases go away? And I often tell them, I know you want me to say yes, that these go away, but unfortunately, I just have to tell you the truth that it doesn't. It's like going to the gym. It never gets easier. You just get stronger.
Right.
The exercises become more complex, and that's how it is as a woman executive, and you learn to deal with it. And so, one quick example, Archana, is I remember when I was an investment partner with SoftBank, my CEO introduced us to a very senior person from another organization, and he sent an email introducing me and another male partner saying, "Oh, Kirthiga and this male partner are decision makers in this. Please have a conversation with them." The partner responded back, and what did he do? He only addressed the male partner, okay?
Really?
Only, okay? And he's clearly said that it has been set up as, okay, that they're making the decision. So the
Right.
exchange happened once, and then the exchange happened the second time. The other person was probably thinking I'm the executive assistant or something because he's probably, again, not interacted with that
Mm.
many women investment partners. So I saw this happen a few times, and I could not keep myself quiet any longer. So I sent him a one-on-one note and I said, I would be doing a disservice if I did not point out that you have two decision makers on this thread. We are both investment partners and we both will be making this decision. And I just wanted to highlight that to you, and I would be doing a disservice otherwise. Okay, send the email. And now I am panicking. Oh my God, this is my CEO who's introduced me to this other person. What if this other person calls my CEO and says, "Who is this person? Why did she say this to me?" And I am sweating. Okay. A few hours later, I get this note from him saying, "Thank you. And I look forward to working with you." And Archana, from that point, whenever I write him a note, I literally get a response back in 30 seconds. So we all just have to use our voice and to
Yeah.
do it nicely, because in a lot of times it is just an unconscious bias and people haven't seen people in that role. And so be kind, be gentle, don't take things personally, and just work through these things and do it for all of the women around you.
So good. So I'm sure, like me, many other women want to know, Kritika, that what is Kritika eating? Because she's not sleeping, definitely. She's always working. She's always energetic. What is that ingredient that you are intaking to make yourself so vibrant and available all the time?
The picture that always come to my mind about what I am quote unquote eating
Yeah.
is um, honestly the picture of my mother, right? Who did not have the opportunity to finish her high school education because her parents did not believe that a girl child only needed enough math to do the grocery bill. And Anuja, if you have a question, maybe you can just chime in on the chat. By the way, her brother had a postgraduate degree, so they clearly knew the value of education. And then to think then about like one generation later, the pride that she has when, she sees her daughter on the cover of a Fortune, or Archana, she joined me in one of the IPO bell ringing. She joined us over Zoom at the New York Stock Exchange. And so here is
Yeah.
my mother who is with her daughter at the New York Stock Exchange, and her granddaughters who are also on the podium. And it was one of those goosebump moments. Mm, so pictures like that give me the what am I eating, and fill me with that inner sense and that inner energy of and also a huge responsibility of making things that much better for the next for the next generation.
Yeah, like Neha also said that you have two beautiful daughters, and of course they need your time. And then you are staying, one leg is in India and the other is in the US. And there's a whole lot of thing in between. So tell us a little bit about that. How are you exactly doing this? How are women expected to do? Is there fights at home? Is somebody like always taunting you for what they you have no time for us? Or is it all sorted? How are you actually making sure that everybody stays happy?
Another great question. Maybe three pieces of advice based on what life stage you're in, right? So one is enthusiasm, balance, work life with kids. How are you playing all roles with satisfaction? Okay. So I'm just reading the questions that's coming in through the chat. So for all of those in the audience who are single and thinking about a life partner, like, by the way, you don't necessarily need a life partner. So if you don't fall in that camp, no problem, go live life. But if you are in the camp of thinking about your life partner, know that the partner that you choose will be your most important career decision. I certainly would not be sitting in this conversation if not for my life partner, who has been just an incredible advocate. So it's not the career that you choose, not the industry that you choose. It's truly the partner that you choose. And if your partner's eyes light up when you talk about career ambitions, that might be the right person. Lean into that. So that's one. Yeah. And so, Archana, the next one, and let me just put this on focus and a do not disturb. Sorry about that. I actually had it on do not disturb. So again, apologies to everyone. Um, so um, um, the second part of your life journey, right? If you're in the place where you're thinking about children and having children, again, I would say the same thing. If you don't want children, no worries, go live life. But if you want to have children, I know that personally, um, you know, for for the first few years, I was not ready. And then the next few years, I postponed the things for the smallest reason. I have to go for a conference, I have to go for a wedding. I can't be pregnant. So those were the reasons. And then when I was ready, we realized that, you don't just get pregnant just because you are ready. And both my girls were IVF girls, which is an, infertility treatment. And I'm very grateful for technology, for the gift of motherhood. And my lesson there is that there will never be a perfect time. And so the corollary is, if you want to have children, it's always a perfect time, and life will come together to support you when it happens. And the last lesson is, when you have children, nothing will stress your multitasking ability. Your guilt triggers as much as, that happening. And so there, I want to give the audience a superpower to use, which is the superpower of the and versus the tyranny of the or. In that, like, not everything is an and. I think we're all practical about that. But there are, more often than not, if you want to do two things, if you think outside the box, get your community, it actually can happen. So, Archana, when my second child was born, I could no longer travel. I thought I could no longer travel. And I said, oh my God, I have to travel for my work. Is this a moment people talk about when you have to make a trade-off? But then actually it occurred to me, wait a minute, I can travel with her. So for the first year, that's what I did. And things just worked out every place that I went to have that support. Now, I am not saying to make the same choices that I did, but I am saying that think outside the box, use your community, and very often an and. What is an or can be changed to an or.
Beautiful. Very well said. And I think so much to take away from here. And kudos to how you're doing it, to be honest. Because I think most women, that's
Yep.
what, the complexity of life brings to them, saying, should I,
Yeah.
shouldn't I, my age, or, the ecosystem or the support system not there, being there. What is the right time? Is this the right decision more than anything? And I think
Yeah.
there are lots of answers that you gave, I think resonate with a lot of audience
Yeah.
questions.
And Archana, like there
Yeah.
are a couple of questions about coming back into IT after they've had a career gap. If I
Yes,
could just that,
absolutely.
yeah.
Okay.
Because as Neha introduced, it's a big passion area of mine. We today across the globe see a 39% drop of mid-career. So by the way, if you have a 39% drop of mid-career, like of course you're going to have like single-digit percent, which is what I just spoke about. And so the more we can do to one, keep women in the workplace, that's one, but two, also do everything that we can to support people coming back into the workplace. So what do you do if you have a career gap? Folks, this today's world of AI and technology gives you so much more opportunity than ever before, right? There are so many free courses that you can take. There are so many places where you can do projects, contribute to, GitHub and others. There are, you can apply to become a Perplexity ambassador. The opportunities are plentiful. And yes, it's not easy. Things don't happen as fast as we want, but keep at it. Build your resume. Go volunteer. Um, Go volunteer at schools where they're go volunteer at low income for low income children and help them teach us so many opportunities. Take advantage of the opportunities, build your resume, and that's going to help you get back to the workforce.
Great. So that brings me to the AI current question, because you're talking
Yeah.
tech and women coming back in the workforce as well. So it's a beautiful project that you have offset. And, we have a big ambition there. I want you to talk about a little bit about AI Kiran. What was the thought behind it and what's happening right now?
Awesome. No, and Archana, huge gratitude to you for the partnership on AI, Kiran. What is the goal and what is the ambition? The goal is 1 million women in AI, right? Very simply. What is the impetus for that? Listen, we are having this conversation when World Economic Forum says that the gender equity gap is going to take over 130 years to close. Yeah. All longevity improvements aside, I am not going to live to see the gender equity gap close. But what we can do and what I can do in my lifetime is to do everything I can to make sure that we don't repeat the same with the AI equity gap. And like it's just mathematical that the more you focus on this in the beginning,
Yeah.
the less you are creating the condition that happens. So we really need everyone to be part of this movement in every different aspect, both how you are embracing AI and jumping in. And again, women traditionally jump in later to technology, but if you don't do it now, you're really left behind. And I understand it's not easy, but you have to choose your heart. It's hard to keep up with technology, but it's also hard to fall behind. So choose your heart and choose it well, right? And so that's what AI Kiran was formed for. It's a multi-pronged approach that goes from first recognizing women in AI. Before AI Kiran, if you went to any of the LLMs and or go to ChatGPT and say, tell me about 100 women in AI in India, it would literally tell you, I cannot answer that question. Okay. And we now have a community of over 10,000 women that we have recognized who are shaping AI in India. It's an initiative with the principal scientific advisor. Huge gratitude to Dr. Sapna Poti for her championship. And we do this in partnership with INKWomen Foundation, as well as like NASCOM, CII, Udayati Foundation, because this is going to take every single stakeholder to make this come true. So that's what AI Kiran is about. Go look up aikiran.ai, and there are plenty of ways for each one of you to participate, but lean in and be one of those women in AI.
Yes, we have nomination forms where women in AI can actually nominate themselves, and Verix is actually going to give you a beautiful credential of showcasing your work, and you can then flaunt it on all social medias. So,
Totally.
Kritika, you wanted? tell them exactly what
Yeah.
Verix is also doing so that, they
Yeah.
know how
You
we
know,
are.
Neha introduced it so beautifully. I should like it's always nice when people like would introduce you. And she said, as she said, this is about verifiable, evolving credentials. And so you get a verifiable credential. I often talk about the analogy of uh, this being like the difference between two diamonds, where the two diamonds might look same with your naked eye, but one has two more zeros or maybe multiple zeros because it has a GIA certificate. And that's really the difference between, just getting a paper or an email or a PDF saying you are XYZ that could be easily fakeable and you can't find it when you really need it, versus a Verix blockchain credential that is lifelong. It evolves with you, keeps track of your accomplishment. And so we are contributing all of that technology to AI Kiran and working with INKWomen Foundation and all of our partners for the other pillars of AI Kiran, which include how do we connect these women? How do we help educate these women? How do we help grow, not just in the technology side, but their storytelling, how do we get them on global stages like Davos, South by Southwest, and the policy work that we do. Um,
Totally.
yeah.
It's my honor to be associated with this. So I can't help but get excited every time we have to speak about it. So that's why so much of focus. But Kritika, great work on that one. I also know, Kritika, that while you're doing so many things, you also do care about your own self-love, as they say, and women need to care about themselves. How are you doing it? I know that you took a little break very recently. Talk about that and why is it important for women to do it?
All right. I have to first tell you, today I did a 2-minute plank. Okay. So that's my first thing, 2-minute plank. Okay.
Wow. Is that the first time? Oh,
I think this is the first time I might have gotten all the way to two.
oh,
And, so in this AI hackathon, we did a plank competition. And I think the highest was like 230 or 245 from some of the other people, right? Not me. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm going to get there to win. Self-love is so important. Um, and it is not it's a journey, Archana, to learn that self-love doesn't mean you're selfish. It's actually the equivalent of put your emergency mask on. If you're on a plane, they tell you, put your emergency mask on before you help the other person do it. And that's literally the equivalent of that. You can't pour out of an empty cup. So make sure that, your cup, your internal cup is not empty. I did go for a 9-day no phone. It was a Vipassana-like thing, not Vipassana exactly. It's actually called the Hoffman program. Of course, they had lots of periods of silence, but there was also meditation, visualization to go really deep. And they say that you come out calmer, happier, and more loving. I came back. My husband said, "How was the program?" I said, "Dave, the brochure said calmer, happier, and more loving. I feel all of that." And my husband laughs at me and says, "You're such a marketing sucker. Of course they said that. Of course you'll believe it." And so I said, like 3 months from now, 6 months from now, tell me if that's true. But again, my first time in my life that I put my phone away for like 9 days to truly dig deep and just think about who you are, what matters to you, and how you want to be in the world.
yeah. So nice. All right, let me take some audience
And
questions.
and huge gratitude, Archana, to you, to Lakshmi, to my lead, my co-founder Saurabh, to the leaders who like so fully supported me. Because it's really hard to say 9 days. I have quarterly goals, I have monthly goals, I have so much to be accountable for. But as these stories go, you'll come back and you'll realize that your leadership stepped in so many ways, and as a result, you can actually do more once you come back than you did before. So I would fully encourage that.
Yeah, so nice. Yes, I totally,
Uh,
totally believe in it as well. And I think all the women here who have joined in, take some time out. Do, and we can just take like kind of like, try multiple things, because maybe one size doesn't fit all. Try different things at different points in your life and see what really speaks to you, but do take out time for yourself. So I want to just take a few questions, Kritika, from the audience. And Sneha is saying, I'm getting into a leadership role. Can you give me some tips to stand out and prove myself? So I want to ask you, do we really have to prove ourselves? And of course, what are some tips on leadership you want to tell her?
So I missed the first part of the question. Do you want to just
Saying I'm getting into a leadership role, and can you give me some tips to stand out and prove myself?
Okay. So, the first thing that I'll tell you, it was actually advice from my first manager at Silicon Graphics, which, by the way, was those days version of OpenAI. Everybody wanted to work there. And she said, Kirthika, focus on the success of your customers, your organization, and your team, and your success is a byproduct. So I really would want you to take that to heart. Like, as you think about how you want to be successful, honestly, like put that to a side. We spend too much time thinking about that versus thinking about how is it that you can make your customers successful, your organization successful, and your team successful. And for me, that became a formula for how I would be more successful, because all that I needed to do was to make each of those constituents more successful. And it gives you, like, job descriptions become irrelevant because you'll just do whatever you need to do. You get more conviction to voice issues because you're doing it for the client, not for yourself. And so that's the first thing that I would really ask you to internalize, is to understand the business, understand your peer objectives, understand the customer objectives. All
Yeah,
right.
great answer. All right, so
Yeah.
the second question, no name here, but wants to ask, even when professionals consistently deliver strong results, they may face challenges in getting recognition or growth opportunities, and sometimes encounter subtle discrimination or bias. From your experience as a leader, what strategies would you recommend to navigate such situations and advocate for oneself effectively?
Yeah, no, such a great question. And the unfortunate part that we all should just know is that just research shows that, men are promoted based on potential and women are promoted based on performance, right? It's just research shows that, right? And there are just systemic biases that exist in the industry. So first thing, don't take it personally. First thing, it's hard not to, but this is just an industry. And I have seen this so many times. I will have two level 7 candidates, one woman, one male, who I feel have exactly the same accomplishment I put up for promotion. I have to fight 10 times harder for the woman. And so, one, by the way, everybody who is in positions where you are making these decisions to approve, be conscious of these biases and try to adjust for it. But what do you do as a woman in that position? Um, you know, um, Look for allies, look for sponsors, look for mentors. And by the way, I've had many places where someone will come to me and say, oh, but my peers think highly of me, my CEO thinks highly of me. So I think I'm doing well, even though I don't have a great relationship with my manager. Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. You need to have your manager rooting for you. You're not really, it's very hard to grow if you have 50 peers, your CEO, but not your manager rooting for you. So deeply invest in understanding what your manager's goals are. And if you don't have that, again, think about what's the next role that you can get. So look for allies, let your performance speak for itself. Um, and again, I feel you, I hear you in the question, and I hope there's something in there that you can apply to help you. The other thing is power of community. Get like peers together. You can create a community saying, hey, how is it that we can talk about these challenges and help each other through these situations and be able to go much deeper than I'm able to go in your specific situation in this podcast. Okay.
Yeah, so good. Thanks. So
Yeah.
Shruti wants to know if she wants to upskill herself in AI by being a part of AI Kiran. How does she do that?
Yeah. Hey, so please go to www.aikiran.ai and um, uh, you do need to be a woman in AI, but they're across all levels. We are very proud of like the 5 different categories we have that range from women driving AI in academia, research, social impact. That's one. To AI trailblazers who are people in industry. We have AI learners who are usually people in university, um, um, AI enthusiasts, university AI learners in high school. And the last category is AI contributors. These are people doing data gathering, training, etc. To me, they're the unsung heroes. So you do need to be a woman in AI in one of these, but it's also very accessible. There's so much free information on the web, and you can always register as a learner or an enthusiast if you don't have, a lot of experience. So join the community, join the WhatsApp group. There's constant opportunities for learning, like speaker nomination, panels, community meetups. We need all of your leadership and your participation.
Yeah, yeah. So you heard it. It's on the website, all the information, even the nomination form is there. Please keep filling in. There's a
So
lot of
now for the WhatsApp group, you do have to apply to be an AI Kiran member, but we review it on an ongoing basis. And we have traditionally waited to batch it, but I'll take this back as an action to see whether we should make that more regular, more frequent, do this weekly, so that more and more women can leverage it. So Navya, if you go to the website, there is Navya is asking the question, Divya is also asking the question, link to WhatsApp group. So go to aikiran.ai, aikiran.ai, and there is a nomination form. Okay.
Yes. All right. So somebody's asking again, anonymous, would you please highlight more points on how AI is shaping the industries and what is the future and how
Yeah.
to cope up with it? Should everyone actually move towards becoming an AI generalist?
Yeah. Hey, so no, and thank you for that question, and we'd love to spend like more time on that. So again, please dig in further. So so the answer is yes. Everyone, listen. All of us are using AI, whether or not we know it. When you go to WhatsApp, when you go to Google, search any place that you go, of course, places like ChatGPT, Perplexity itself, we are all using AI, whether or not we know it. So there are people using AI is honestly everybody. People who know and build and are conscious and are intentional about AI is a smaller group. I would love for all of the members in here to be falling under that group of being intentional about their learning and going to building AI. The tools that are available today, like you can go to a Lovable, put a prompt and generate an entire website. You can go to Replit and write a prompt and develop an entire program. The ability for you to do things that were reserved for what engineers, which is my background, would do is just extraordinary. So the answer is yes, 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 1,000 times over for you to jump into AI. And I know the question was, do you need to be an AI generalist? I would say jump in, know the foundation, but then like just continue your journey and go deeper and deeper and deeper. Um, so do that. What are the opportunities? Opportunities are all over. It is shaping every industry as we know it, whether it's professional services, whether it's teaching, whether it is medicine, it is health tech, fintech, real estate, every industry as we know it. So, like that's a big goal of AI, Kiran, too, is to have a multidisciplinary approach. So AI in fashion, AI in entertainment, AI in sports. So whatever field that you're in, go look up how can AI change my industry and start using it.
Great. Okay, so Priya wants to ask that what would you suggest for women on a career break who have completed advanced course in data science but still lagging a secure job back?
Yeah. And I am just so grateful to Neha and Herky and organizations like that that provide the community and the support and opportunities like this. And so uh, I you know I would say it's a matter of time, it's a matter of pipeline, it's a matter of continuing to build your career. And I spoke about this a little bit earlier, is can you do contributions, like build programs, participate in contests. Like I was a jury member for Google Agentic AI Hackathon. I think there were what thousands of developers. So go apply. I know it's not easy, but again, those are the steps that you can take to go be visible, and be known, and get closer and closer to that secure job opportunity.
Okay, one fun question maybe here is how would you describe Kritika?
Archana, how would you describe
How
Kirthiga?
would you describe Kritika? I have described you in many ways in this time, but they want to know from you, how do you describe Kritika?
I use three words to describe myself. I am a technologist, I'm an optimist, and I'm an adventurer. So those are the three words that I describe myself.
Beautiful.
Um, And
Beautiful.
Archana, what I'll share is I'm actually wearing this beautiful, beautiful necklace, which was gifted to me at an event this weekend with Naitri, which is one of the largest organizations with South Asian women. And this is a creation of Manisha Gupta. And so I have like there's a brochure that comes with it, and she says it's about wisdom and courage. So I felt very honored and very special for those two words
You
to be
have
used.
both. You have both. All right, I know there are lots of questions, but we will need to wrap up. But I have few rapid fire questions before you go to just make it
Uh-huh.
like more fun. So one
Okay.
book or resource that has deeply influenced you.
One book or resource that has deeply influenced me. I'm right now reading the book Magic, and it has this phrase, okay, which says, okay, the TLDR is, it says, psychologists have puzzled over this sentence, which says, for those who have, more shall be given. For those who don't have, whatever they have will be taken away. And they said psychologists have pondered over that for decades, saying, is this about like the rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer? Like, what is this statement? And then the TLDR of this book, you don't have to read the book because the TLDR, I mean, please read the book if you want to, but the TLDR is they said that the missing word is gratitude. The more gratitude you have for whatever, the more of that you will be given. And for if you do not have gratitude for that, whatever you have will be taken away. So that's
So magical. So magical.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. It is. There's a magic around gratitude.
Yes. A
Yeah.
tech innovation you find fascinating today.
A tech innovation that I find
Or
fascinating
many.
today, of many, right? I'm personally, for those who know me, I'm always the unofficial photographer at any event, and my storage keeps getting, but I really love all of those pop-ups, the memories, the collages of photographs, videos that come up is truly very special for me.
Okay, so one piece of advice you wish you received earlier.
Um, One piece of advice that I wish I'd received earlier. It is my favorite poster in Facebook offices, and that is, what would you do if you weren't afraid? And I'm going to ask everyone that question. What would you
Yeah.
do if you weren't afraid? Or, also think of it as, what would you do if success were guaranteed, and go out and do it.
So nice. Good. So Neha, are you coming back? And maybe you have a question to wrap up, and then we can all. Oh, Neha is somewhere else. Okay. Yeah. Do you want to say something? You're on mute.
I know that I have really enjoyed listening about this conversation. I'm now braving Bangalore traffic and going to Whitefield, uh, which is why you're seeing me on the road. Kirtika, I must say, I learn from you every day. Okay, every time I speak to you, every time I hear your journey. And this time, actually, I think the toughest question that you evaded was, how would you describe Kirtika? Yeah, because really your journey has been nothing short of fantastic, and it's been a real pleasure to have you share that with us today. It's also been great for me to see the kind of questions coming in, yeah, in terms of the kind of enthusiasm and interest that the ones who are listening in have for AI, because it's obviously, I think, the way we all use websites, that's how we need to start thinking about using AI. It's omnipresent, and whatever knowledge we can get of it, we do need to thank you so much for sharing the details about AI, Kiran. It's a really brilliant initiative and something that all women should make the most of. But Kirthika, I think before you go, if and by the way, that's one of my favorite posters also of Facebook, which is what would you do if you weren't afraid? So if you can kind of share with us, you know, one moment when you were afraid, but you leapt over that fear and took a particular decision.
Um, you know, the first thing that comes to mind, I was not a hiker, not a runner, did not know how to swim. I was celebrating a milestone birthday. And so I said, what do I do? I have to go climb the Mount Everest base camp, right? And so, I think there's a lesson in there in that you can train for whatever mountain you want to aspire to. And if I translate that into the professional world, when I started as an investment partner at SoftBank, I had to learn essentially a new language. I did not know what pari passu meant, what senior lick pref meant. I mean, how do you read a term sheet too? Looking at very different industries, quantum computing, additive manufacturing, mental wellness were the first three areas I looked at, and I led their first investments in each of these three areas. So a new function, new industry, a new culture, new people. And I was at my steepest learning curve then. And today, again, I feel I'm at my steepest learning curve. And I really feel for the question of, I find overwhelming at times. I think the overwhelm is real and we just have to acknowledge it. And I'd say, like, again, let's all take a deep breath and say, we will not know everything. Can we just get a little bit better that day? If you're spending 5 minutes, if you're not spending any time, 5 minutes to learn, right? And just take one step at a time, and you look back in a year and you'll be amazed at what you have accomplished. All right. Hey, as people drop off, I don't know whether I'm still audible, but what is one takeaway that you will take with you as you take away, you will take with you? Take with you. If you could type that, that would be super helpful so we know what is most valuable for you. All right, Sahana says yes. So as you drop off and as we wrap up, and yes, Barka as well. Hi, Barka. Thank you for your partnership. So one takeaway. Okay. Amazing. Keep going. All right. One of them said, learn about AI, Kiran. Fabulous. Okay. Speak up. Keep learning. Be passionate. Barkha says, help me unmute. We will unmute you. Okay. Ask to unmute. Okay. Ask to unmute. Barkha, are you unmuted or no?
This is Archana. So I got pushed out because of the power in our house, which just went off. So sorry about that. Technology, you see, will surprise us sometimes.
Yeah, and Barkha, if you could actually capture these comments, and would love to just have a, maybe even a word cloud that one day. Yeah, thank you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. So yeah, so all
is you could just give us so that we can get one good picture of it.
all right. Rupa Bansal raises a hand. Yeah. All right. Is Barkha unmuted? I think probably she wants to come say hi and close out on the session. All right.
Barkha, are you there? Do you want to close the session or? Oh, Neha's also here. So that's great. So Neha, so you're okay, you can't speak. All right, so it's okay. Then I will take, the stage back. And Kirthiga, you have been incredible. Of course, every time that I speak to you, there is some more nuggets which come out for me. So I'm sure that the audience took out a lot. And thank you, Herky. Thank you, Neha. Thank you, Barkha, and the entire team of Herky, who's actually making this possible along with INKWomen to get some very incredible stories out there. Because everybody should know that these women also came from a very humble background, but they decided not to give up. Like most of us, kind of like get challenged by the situations, and there are some incredible ones who actually walk the path. So much to learn from, and to keep shining, my dear. And to yet another conversation, to yet another knowing you. This platform is so amazing. Thanks so much.
No, awesome. And for those who are still here, what I'd encourage you to do is again use the whole power of visioning. It is October, so even if you want to spend some time thinking about what would you do if you weren't afraid, and just write down your big bold vision for where you want to end the year. Think it's December 31st, and just write down what this shouldn't be in the past tense. I am so grateful, thrilled. This happened in my work, this happened in my life. Actually, research shows that you're 47% more likely to achieve your goals if you actually write it down. So why wouldn't you take those odds? And the odds go up even higher if you actually share it. So write down your big bold vision, share it, and let the universe help conspire to make a lot of that come true. And whatever gets left behind, move it over to the next year, and we'll keep at it. All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kirthiga. And thank you so much, Archana, for moderating this amazing session. The recording of this will be put out there for those who missed it. So please, everyone, do share that after this is done. And of course, stay tuned. There'll be lots of amazing sessions happening on Herky all the time. So get on the herky.com and stay tuned on those. Thank you so much, Archana. Thanks, Kirthiga.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.